Alright battlers, it's time to unleash the Umbreon. I spoke with one of my local friends and he had a Last Resort Umbreon that he was willing to trade me. Guys, I cannot wait to playtest this. We are going up against some serious competition. First is Season 1 Ace LindenRyu, second is Gilmore 1991, one of the top players in my Ghost Stadium lobby, and third is the famous CallMeJake. Going right into Game 1, I open with Alolan Ninetales versus Vaporeon. I don't like this matchup here, so I go for my safe swap and Linoone. Linoone is going to come in here, and I know all I have to do is land that one Grass Knot to bring down the Vaporeon. I actually go for the cheeky Thunder here, trying to get a little more damage in on this Alolan Ninetales, and it lands, which is perfect. We're actually able to get to a Grass Knot as well, so this is the winning combination if you want to beat an Alolan Ninetales that switches into your Linoone with energy. You need to hit it with a Thunder and then the Grass Knot, because double Grass Knot won't do it. We actually bring him down. Out comes that Vaporeon again. And here, I think my mistake is bringing in the Umbreon. I should have gone for my Alolan Ninetales, because looking at his team composition, I know that he had a Nidoqueen on his team, but I didn't know if he was going to bring it with him. So we actually go here with the foul play. Again, our first play testing with Umbreon, and I am loving it so far. I understand the hype. I totally get it. It's a great Pokemon, and now that I have it on my team, and it's such a great asset, it is a must-have. So I'm going to shield this attack from Vaporeon. It is a Last Resort, which was great that we shielded that. I switch into Alolan Ninetales, and out comes the Nidoqueen. So this is not a super favorable position for us. I know I can burn this shield here with the Psyshock, because Poison-type Nidoqueen would take some heavy damage from that. I come back in with Umbreon here, and I'm going to shield this Earth Power. I know he's got a lot of energy. He might actually have two moves on the way, so I go right for the foul play. Guys, this is going to be enough to bring down the Nidoqueen, which is great for us. Out comes that Vaporeon, and look at this. We were able to swing back this match in our favor and use the foul play to beat Vaporeon and win round 1. Taking a look here at round 2 against Linden, I will lead with that Bibarel against his Alolan Ninetales. So with this particular team of 6 that I brought for our games, I didn't have a pure fairy counter on my team, so he felt very comfortable leading that Alolan Ninetales against me. So when you're constructing your team, it's very good to have a very balanced team, but it also can make your opponent's leads unpredictable. So if you kind of weight your team in a certain way, you might be able to force certain leads, and then if you're prepared for that, you can actually take advantage of it. Just something to keep in mind. So after a couple of bad switches here, I did give up switch priority, and now we are facing Alolan Ninetales versus Nidoqueen, and obviously this is very, very bad for me. I don't have enough energy to get to a second Psyshock, so I won't be able to claim that second shield. I do have my Linoone with double shields though, but I do have to face that Umbreon in the back. He is going to fire up the first Earth Power, and I'm going to shield it. Here comes a second that I will shield as well. I know if I'm going to have any chance at all, I need to keep my Linoone topped off. I do fire off the Grass Knot here, and he is going to allow it through, which is great. Nidoqueen falls, and I've got a little bit of energy, but we reach a CMP tie, and this Umbreon's going to fire off the foul play first. So at this point, the Umbreon has one shield still, and I just don't have enough with my Linoone. I like how Linoone is pretty dense. I know a lot of trainers think he's a little bit glassy, but I think he's very, very strong. I mean, he can take 2 foul plays, he can take a couple of ice punches, he can take even a couple of thunder punches or discharges. Linoone is a very durable Pokemon and a very great safe switch. We just unfortunately can't pull it out in this game. Linden wins round 2. Going into round 3, I will lead with Donphan right into that Umbreon. I am loving this look so far. I'm going to absorb this foul play first, and then I know if he stays in, I'm going to hit him with the Heavy Slam. I had an opportunity there to go for the Earthquake, which would have been really nice, but he does shield it, so it actually works out for us anyway. I'm going to return favor and give Donphan a shield. Again, I'm still loving Donphan as a flex pick. I do make the fast swap into Alolan Ninetales. I'm going to absorb this energy that he's going to fire, which was the foul play. So we did definitely catch him there. In comes that Nidoqueen, and as long as I can take this last shield from Nidoqueen, I'll be happy. He actually is going to fire off a move, probably expecting me to let it go, but I'm not, guys. I'm going to force this Nidoqueen to either give me the shield or fall, and we actually take that Nidoqueen. So our one fairy counter is down. In comes in comes Santa Hat Raichu, and we're actually able to get several charms off on it. I do decide to bring in my Donphan here, knowing that if I have to face that Umbreon again in the mirror with my Last Resort, I will definitely win, especially with the health advantage that I have. So Donphan is going to resist the electric type attacks. He does go for the Brick Break. He actually goes double Brick Break, which is great for me. I don't think he would have been able to beat me with the Thunder Shock, so I think that's what he had to do, but he did spend all of that energy, so he's only going to get 1 Brick Break off against our Umbreon. In comes his Umbreon, and I go for the Last Resort. He did make a very good switch trying to catch the foul play, but it's just not going to be enough. After a moment, that Raichu is going to come back in, and even with another Brick Break, I don't think it's going to KO. We actually get to the foul play anyway, so we don't even find out. We win a best of 3 against Season 1 ace LindenRyu with our first Umbreon footage. Going into this next round of battles, I'm facing Gilmore 1991, a very, very strong competitor for my Ghost Stadium lobby and a great training partner when we do play. He's going to bring in that Suicune, and I'm going to switch into my Minun. So I'm going to absorb whatever this is, expecting the Bubble Beam, and it was, which was great for us. He does bring in Skuntank, so I know there's been a lot of talk of Skuntank, especially early on, as a great safe switch, but I just don't find it dense enough to really pull ahead in a lot of matches. I know For the Battles is actually a very, very good practitioner of Skuntank. I will leave the link to her video on Skuntank strategies below. If you want to watch how the master does it, you should check her out. She's really, really solid content creator. I do fire off another discharge and bring down the Skuntank. Again, if he wasn't willing to spend that second shield, I knew that I had a good position going up against that Skuntank. So I'm going to fire at the Heavy Slam here, and then in comes that Suicune again. I assume I'm going to get Bubble Beamed here, so I do not shield, and it actually is the Hydro Pump. So he does catch us on this, and it's going to bring down the Donphan, being a ground type, super effective damage. But it actually works for us, because we're going to line up our Minun against the Suicune again, which is what we want. I am going to shield this Bubble Beam, because I want to get off at least 2 discharges, so I can burn the first shield, and then hit him with the second one. He actually is not going to shield, so my plan actually was a little bit maybe over-prepared. Now, this is a great situation for me. I know I've got this game won because my Umbreon is going to come in here with the Last Resort, and he's going to work us down pretty low, and he's got a little energy advantage, but it's just going to be too much for him to overcome, especially if I'm able to shield bait. So here I go straight for the Last Resort, hoping he would think it was a bait, and he does not shield, which is excellent for us. As you can see, he's deep into the red, and I'm still in the green. He'd have to hit us with maybe 3 more Last Resorts. I go for the bait here with the foul play. I don't think this was completely necessary, but we do earn the shield, and it puts us 1 Snarl ahead, and we're actually able to get to the Last Resort here, and this will bring down his Umbreon. Jumping right into round 2 against Gilmore, I will lead my Bibarel into that Alolan Ninetales. So I don't like leading Umbreon. You'll see that a lot in this video because I want to lure out the fairy and then trap the fairy, because as long as the fairy's out of the way, Umbreon, as you are well aware, I'm sure, according to PvPoke and the other sims, can really pull ahead in almost any other matchup that it faces in the cup. He does make a beautiful switch into his own Bibarel, and I'm going to return the favor by swapping into Minun. So I'm going here for just 1 discharge is all I need. I'm going to absorb this Surf here. I know Minun's role in this battle is to bring down the water type, and once that is done, I can let him fall. If I'm facing a double water team, I probably would be a little more conservative, but knowing that he only has the 1, I'm going to allow it. The discharge does land on the Umbreon, so at this point I'm going to let Minun fall. I want to donate my shield to that Umbreon. He actually undercharges, trying to maybe farm me up. You know, we are still playing, or maybe it was a mistake, but or practicing, excuse me. So I bring in my Umbreon here, and I do have the shield advantage. So I go straight for the Last Resort. I think I can go straight Last Resorts here and still win, even if he does shield. I'm not going to shield this attack, and it turns out it is Last Resort as well. So he switches into that Alolan Ninetales, and we bring in our Bibarel, but it goes down really quick because of the charm. I'm going to fire at the foul play because I need this Ninetales out of the way. He's going to shield, which is very smart. And look at this, guys. Even with the mighty Umbreon, that Alolan Ninetales can bring you down. Again, you need to trap the fairy in your matches. Going into round 3 against Gilmore, I will leave Donphan. I have to swap out though, and I go straight Thunderbolt with my Minun against his Umbreon. So I thought you had to bait with a discharge and then fire 2 Thunderbolts, but I actually learned, thanks to PvPoke, that you just need to go 3 Thunderbolts and you will win. If you bait with the discharge, you come out essentially 1 Snarl ahead of health. So essentially like 3 or 5 health points or whatever it is. So not a huge difference. It can make a big difference if it's razor thin margins, but man, look at this. Minun again, so clutch, getting off another discharge to bring down the Umbreon. Sorry, but yeah, it could be minor margins of victory, especially if you're in a very close match, but something to keep in mind. If you're comfortable with it, you can go straight Thunderbolts. He does make a really, really good switch into Suicune and absorb that foul play. I really don't want Umbreon to get Bubble Beam, so I swap out at the perfect time. I'm trying to get better at counting my Suicune Snarls. And here with the Donphan, I know I need to land the Earthquake. I'm going to try to burn some shields here, so I'm going to burn 1 shield of my own. I fire off the Heavy Slam here, hoping he would throw up his shield as well, and he does, which is great for me. We are 1-in-1 shield, and he's going to fire off another attack. It will be Hydro Pump, so he is out of energy. That's something important to keep in mind. He needs 4 Snarls to get to the Bubble Beam, so I'm going to fire off my Foul Play here, and it is going to land, which is excellent for us. Suicune's out of the way, so this Umbreon is basically operating at full strength. We are facing off against Bibarel here, so this was a Hyper Fang, and that was not a good move by me. I definitely should have shielded the Hyper Fang if you're going to shield anything from Bibarel. But I do bait with a Foul Play there to earn the shield, which is great. So I fire off the Last Resort here, and we are going to start to work down that Bibarel. I have one more shield in the bank, so I'm going to shield its attack. It is Surf, and then I know all I need to win is the Foul Play, and he gets pretty close, but we're able to pull this victory out and win Game 3, excuse me. Guys, our final opponent is the mighty CallMeJake. He is just as good as ever. It's been a while since we played, but I was so excited to do these battles with him. First, right off the bat, I'm going to lose this lead terribly. I do bring in my Umbreon against his Nidoqueen. I know all I have to do here is go for the Foul Plays, and they will start to add up. In comes his Umbreon here, and you'll notice something very interesting. Even though he switches into the mirror, he's going to use the Foul Play first there, but his Umbreon does not have Last Resort, or if it does, he just didn't show it to me. But I fire off my Last Resort there, and as you're well aware, I'm sure a lot of people have been talking about this, Umbreon with Last Resort will win the mirror match, even if the other Umbreon has Dark Pulse, which is a stronger Dark type attack. He's going to fire off another Foul Play, and this tells me almost for certain that he doesn't have Last Resort. So I just want you, there's a little bit of lag, I apologize, but I just want you to see the gap here in the gameplay. So when I use my Last Resort, this damage is going to add up so quickly, and I did in fact spend a shield, so there's that to consider. But when he just fires the Foul Plays, it hardly does anything to Umbreon. So he gets off one more move against me. It might take us into the yellow, and it does. Not a huge deal. I overfarm a couple of Snarls, and then I go here for the Foul Play to bring him down. So he does have those 2 shields. I'm facing off against the Nidoqueen. I really want these shields out of the way, so I'm going to defend my Umbreon and go straight for the Foul Play. It is shielded the first time, but we get to a second Foul Play, and I'm hoping to take that second shield here. And it is shielded again. So we earn both of those shields, and look at this, guys. He's going to swap into Lanoon. He's got a ton of energy on that Nidoqueen, I know, but I am in a very favorable situation here. I'm feeling very comfortable. I'm going to fire off my attack from Minun, which is the Thunderbolt, and it lands, doing a tremendous amount of work. In comes that Nidoqueen, and I know that this Minun is basically done, but I know that my Alola Ninetales, even with the charms, can finish this off. So I think here maybe I should do a sacrificial swap type thing, but then I realize my timer is not up, so it would be useless. Nidoqueen does go for a charge attack here, guys, and this game comes right down to the wire. He beats us with the poison jabs, and Umbreon just can't pull it out. Jake wins round 1. Going into round 2 against CallMeJake, he catches me on the lead so badly. This is why I don't like leading Umbreon. So we go into the Ninetales mirror match, and then out comes Nidoqueen. I do have some energy, so I go for the Psyshock here, just trying to earn the shield from Nidoqueen. And we do get it. So he's going to invest in Nidoqueen here. This is a play you're going to see time and time again in your Ferocious Cups. Nidoqueen is going to farm and farm your Ninetales. So he fires off an attack. It is Earth Power, and look at that, guys. Umbreon is just so stout. I am loving this gameplay so far. I'm going to fire off the Foul Play against it and almost bring it down. At this point, I decide to actually let Umbreon take this. So his fairy's out of the way, so I think I'm going to let my Umbreon, excuse me, his fairy is right there. So so I actually let Umbreon fall there, my mistake. And then I come in here with Bibarel. I'm going to shield the Psyshock, and I know this game is pretty much over. Jake just lined up his Pokemon so well. I'm not sure if there's a way I could have really played my way out of it unless he made a mistake, and he did not. So I fire off the Surf here, and in comes his Umbreon to wrap us up. Going to the final game of the video, guys, we lead Umbreon versus Umbreon, and as you know, mine has a Last Resort, so I'm going to win this mirror match. I actually open my switch tray expecting the swap, and we are both going to over-farm like heck. He's actually going to fire off a charge move against us, which is the Foul Play. Not a huge deal. If he's going to stay in, so am I. So I fire off my Last Resort here, and it does land. Guys, if you look at the Sims, in real life it's really slow, but if you look at the Sims, you just see a gray circle, a black circle, a gray circle, a black circle, circle. This Umbreon mirror match can take forever. So we already fired off 2 Last Resorts, going for a 3rd here. And I feel like if I can get this Umbreon out of the way, it can clear the way for the rest of my team as long as I line my pokes up correctly. So I do blink and I swap into Donphan. We're able to counter down the Umbreon, and out comes that Lanoon. I go straight for the Heavy Slam here, and I know these counters are going to add up pretty quickly. So he does shield that first one, which is great. I'm going to shield as well the Grass Knot, so I'm going to fire off a few more counters as well. I really want this Lanoon out of the way, so I do fire off my Heavy Slam, and he does allow it through. His last Pokemon is going to be Nidoqueen. So Nidoqueen comes out, and I know that I need to charge up some energy, and if I can get off that Earthquake, I can one-shot him. So my objective here is to burn the shield so that I can come in with Donphan and just sweep things up. I do fire off the Foul Play here, and I'm feeling pretty confident in this match. In order to do more chip damage and try to burn that shield, I am going to bring in my Piloswine here. The Powder Snow is going to be super effective, and I do get to the Avalanche, so I know if he doesn't shield this, it is going to KO, and he allows it through, and I win the game. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Umbreon footage. We unleashed the beast, and I am not turning back. I'm definitely going to bring Umbreon on my team. I understand the hype. I get it. And I was just so super fortunate that my friend Conrad was actually able to trade me one. So Conrad, thank you so much. Guys, if you enjoyed this content, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.